All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May they experience happiness, be separate from suffering, and the self-love establish them in the still one surpass, complete the practice of Buddhahood. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May they experience happiness, be separate from suffering, and safely away establish them in the still one surpass, perfect complete precious Buddhahood. Dala damvara sibe da, no bara sibe ge, tarba dam damje jembe barde jubara siba damje jezo sebe, manam kada nyambe semje damje dewa dande, dungara dandra nyorda lana meba yanda bara zobe zanjo rumboje, tobara sa. Thus, under achieving enlightenment, are performed virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. Unto death, are performed virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, are performed virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas or Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas and Dhakinis and the Dhamma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and the likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas invested in enlightenment and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to Bodhicitta, and apply myself to complete the stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge under enlightenment reach. By the merit of Janarasta and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. 7 long prayer. I'm going to do the Tibetan. Jenye zedai so jenye de na, te zon je ba me ye singe gen, da ge ma le de da dong je la, le da nga ye dang we sa je wo, zang bo je be mu lan do da ge, Yarwa damje yeje ngonzom de shenge denye le rai do ba ye Yarwa ken lai rab de zanze lo Derje denai dernye sanje nam Sanje seje winai yo ba da Te dara chi je ye na ma le ba Tamje jarwa da ge ganwar mu te da ngabai me ze jamzo na yangje yen lai jamzo da genji jarwa genje yong den ra ju jing de war je ba damje da ge du me do dam ba jing wa dam ba dang Sernye namda insoba dong jodang, marmen jodan dobe damba ye, jarwa de da lan en jobaraje, naza damba namda injum jodang, seme purma rira nyambadang, koba je bare baben jogenji, Jarwa de da lan en jubaraje, chuba gana lami jaje wa, te da jarwa damje layami, zambo julai de be do da ge, jarwa gena sansaran jubaraje, De Jai Shedan De Mo Wang Ne Le Dang Ma Dai De Yin Ye Ji Jiang De Ba Da Ge Ji Ba Jin Ji Ba De Da Dang Je Da Ge Zo Zo Re Ya So Je Ja Rua Gen Dan Sang Je Se Rang Ja Ra Nam Dan Lo Dan Me Lo Dan Ro Wai Gen Je So Nan Gang La Yang De Dai Gen Je Ji Se Da Ye Rang Kanai So Je Je De Ru Me Da Sang Je Ren Bar Sang Je Ma Ja Ni Gong Bo De Dai Da Ge Dam Je La Ko Lo La Na Me Bai Go Wai Go Nyang Me Da Wa Re Ji Gen De Da La Ro Wai Gen La Bin Jen De Ve Ser Kar Bai Yen Ge De Nye Yo Ba Yang Da Ge Da Mo Ra Ja So Wa Ra Je San Se Wa Dai Jo Je Ya Wa Dang Je Se Ye Ran Gor Je So Wa Ye Ge Wa Yong Se Da Ge Je Sa Ba Tam Je Zo Be San Jo Zer Ngo Show Mandala offering. The ground is sprinkled with the scented water and strewed with flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spirit mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As Buddha fair I offer it, may all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fairs. To the lamas who possess the Trikayas, I offer water in the sacred offerings, with my body, word, and all that is visible. Please grant me spirit realization enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through postrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rina Mandra Lapanza Manga Samandra Savarana Samaya Hom. I call refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 world. You are the way to Rajadara, widow adored. I bow at the feet of Father Jiti Songo. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one grant your blessings. Dispel darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of mind. Please turn the way of Dharma of the two way hackers and the combination according to this position and likewise the mental capacity of sentient beings. So now we go to the Chinrezek Sadhana, page 424. In the center of a pure and of a Bodhala, brilliant white on a lotus and the moon disease. I appear in the form of noble Avalokiteshvara, white and radiant with one face, four arms, and two legs. My first two hands are joined at my heart, and the lower two hold the crystal rosary and the white lotus. I have slick and jewel ornaments, and my steered legs are crossed. And adorning my cross is Alama Amitabha, Buddha of boundless light. All around are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas together like clouds. From the Om Ahom at my three centers stream out the rays of light. And what in the hearts of wisdom deities, who dissolving indivisibly. In the center of my heart, one lotus and the moon disease is the celebration. Surrounded by the mantra garland, from it like streams out, making offering to the noble ones and purifying the obscuration of all beings. The whole environment become the realm of moon potala. All that appears is the form of great compassionate one. All sounds like speech of the six-syllable mantra, and all thoughts the wisdom mind of emptiness and compassion, all of genuine nature beyond grasping and all providing I recite the mantra. Go back to Tibetan. Da be yin kan bo da la ye we Ragar be mai da ve din din de Ranyen pa pai jin re zi je ge Ka sa re yar je sa ye yang ye pa Tambo sa nye tu gar tar mo jar Oma ni je shen zhen be gar nam Tar dai ren chen jen den je zhong yu Jie wo la ma o ba me be jin Kor de san je san sem jin dar de Ne song ong a hong ge wo zi jie Yi xie la zo jin zhang yin mi den To wei bei de din la ye ge shi Den dar ma jian chen wei gor wa le Hong chen pan jiong zhou gen zhi bai jiong Xian kan tam jie ri wo da le xian Nan wa tam jie tu jie qian bi ge Zha zha tam jie ye ge zhu gui song Ten do tam jie dong ye nin jie ngang Zhi me cha da niu me ngang ne da Om mani padme 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 Okay, so here I'm going to share the teaching. Today So I'm going to share the teaching after we chant the 37 practice together. Then also I create a time for question and answer, begin discussion. First, I'm going to share the teaching, and then we can chant the Bodhisattva practice together. Then we go to discussion. So that's where many people has, independent day. So we have to create independent. You wanted to stay discussion or you want to leave, so you have independent. Dānggē dūjē shācē rāisān chōng yīngjē mūdō dējē bōngyōng bā sērjē lēmbō tāparā jībē gā shācē jārbē shārdā sōwān dē dōjē jāngchē dēlō nārō dāi mārbā nālāi jījē gāmbō bāi pāmō rūpāi jarvāi jī gōng bē Kaju lama nanlai zorwa de rome jeje yenje bogang ne te som sanje genje ngowo nye rangsem jiga ngozon don zebe sawe lame shala zorwa de Yeah. In this room has a monkey. Okay, so yesterday we are finished 33 verses, right? So today we are in the 34 verses. Yesterday we talked about this 33 verses. So, in our individually, we our own situation, so we can practice that section. Everyone has opportunity to use that practice method because due to our individual level. So this directly, for the monastics, but indirectly, every individual has conditions. So, expectation to reward and respect. So due to that, and then create attachment and create anger and aversion. So then anger and aversion, due to that, and we lose and peace and happiness ourselves and for others. Become no one can get great. It's everyone be lost. So that's the reason. And yesterday I shared with you verses 33, and you can get reward and respect, but through the wisdom. Through the wisdom, you get reward and respect. So that's no harming for others. And you can use that reward and respect for benefit for others. So become reward and respect that's not cause us to quarrel and making hearing and thinking and meditation decline. So you use that and can become benefit for others. Also, our quality, love, compassion, benefit for other. So it's become our qualities can be increasing. So that's all is depending individual, capacity and the level. So sometimes like you think, we don't need reward and respect. So you think, I have to give up that. Not only that, if you 100% think that is also incorrect. So reward and respect is not causes for the suffering. So when you get reward and respect, is not attached to that. And the attachment create anger. And then it causes of suffering each other, right? So that's the reason. When you get reward and respect, that's great. So you use that, and through that, for benefit others or benefit yourself. And then you use that practicing your practice, like your qualities can be increasing. So you can use that, you can benefit more for others. Yeah. So sometimes like people misunderstand, oh, we cannot have any reward and respect from others. We cannot any expectation have that. So that's also a little bit misunderstand. So you can have, but use that correctly and through our wisdom. Then why this reward and respect is the causes of suffering? Because due to ignorance. People's ignorance, they're attached to reward and respect, then they're harming themselves and create suffering for others. So that's all this mostly you can recognize worldly people does. And all the politicians kind of like that. So maybe 1%, 2%, not we cannot put it there, but almost 95, 96, 97% is become causes of suffering for reward and respect attached to that. They create causes of suffering for themselves. But sometimes like temporarily they can benefit, long run, long goal is causes of suffering. Temporarily, the ordinary people only see temporary benefits. The Bodhisattva seeing long benefit, long goal benefits. Temporary benefits and become worldly, you get good, great again. But in that temporary worldly you get again, that actually causes of suffering, create a lot of suffering. So maybe you get a good power. You use that power. Worldly you get power is great, but you use that power, you can many other people's destroy happiness, other beings destroy happiness. So you like the power, you wanted to do that, but actually behind is ignorance. In the long run, that you create the causes of suffering because you create a negative deeds. So that's why it's here. It's Nurture Tomi who created this 37 practice of Bodhisattva, and that kind of Bodhisattva they realize all this samsara, reward and respect is causes of suffering. They're not attached to that, but as long as they use that benefit for others. And our case, you don't need to deny the reward and the respect, but don't attach to that kind of situation. If you really attach to that, become causes of suffering. And sometimes you can be great in short term, but long run create the causes of suffering. If you become one country's president, but temporarily you are great, or you get president seat, you are winner. So elections become your winner. But long run, when you are become president, during that time you go to war, and fighting for other country, like you use that power and harming many other countries, create many problems. So see, that's so much you create negativity during that time, and that cause is future life endless suffering. So our human beings, due to ignorance, we don't recognize, we don't see that. We only just see temporary benefit and temporary good. That's a long run is causes of suffering. So then today we go to the verses 24. 24 is 34. always a mistake is numbers, 34 verses. Harsh words disturb the minds of others and cause deterioration is a Bodhisattva's conduct. Therefore, give up harsh words which are unpleasant to others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So then, harsh words, so is disturbing the minds of others. So we saying, harsh words, then that affected other people's mind. So harsh words is actually causes of all the negative emotions. So saying harsh words, due to that, others upset, then others become enemy. Due to that, others harming for you, and then you going to beg, harming others too. So become all is causes of suffering each other. It's harsh words is create all the causes of suffering. That's the reason we have to watch our own speech through the, mindful. So we have to use the, I think verses 30 cents, the five verses 31. We have to use the verses 31. If you don't examine your own error, you may look like a practitioner, but not as one. Therefore, always examine your own errors. So we have to watch our own speech. If you don't take care of our own speech, then sometimes we think we are practitioner, but actually we harming others' mind and other people get suffering. Like words is very strong and others get suffering. So because due to self-grasping, someone is free from grasping to the words, so songs, then the words no disturb for them. Long as we have, grasping to the words, then these harsh words destroy others' mind, disturbing others' mind. So other also telling harsh words for us that disturbed our own mind. If you are practitioner, you are free from grasping for the words, then you don't disturb. Whatever others says, no disturbing for you, because you recognize the words is emptiness is words. Words is not other than emptiness. Other emptinesses are no other than words. So we don't have that level under that. Someone harsh words disturb our own mind, but same it's like that. Our words also disturb other mind. So that's the reason our practitioner for follow the 37 Bodhisattva practice, we have to watch our own words. And especially, when you are gathering together people, and then you have to watch carefully our words. Otherwise, so you don't know which person is going to get wrong idea or wrong percept. So in Tibet, we say, gathering place, take care your mouth. Only yourself, take care your hand. Means only yourself, don't stealing other things belong to others. Take care your hand. When you are gathering place, take care your mouth. So public, gathering together, if we don't take care our mouth, then say something, maybe there's 100 people example, is 60 people are okay, but maybe 40 people get affected. Maybe if 95 people okay, but 5 people affected, that's also become no great. So the words you really cannot make pleasant 100% for everyone. And the words you cannot make 100% everyone perfect. See, 95% positive, 5% negative. 5% negative is very strong. Then 95% positive. 95% positive is you don't really see, and you really see the 5% negative. So that's we recognize when we gather in Sangha together, one person make in this zone, create a noise. So even 95% stay calm and mute, but one person are mute, like see, then disturb for everyone, right? That means like negativity has very power. And also we right away see negative easily. You don't really easily see the qualities, positively. So that's why when we are gathering in the public place, we have to watch our own speech. Sometimes like no mindful, just say something, even you don't have any intentions, but harms others' mind. So that actually not that strong non-virtuous deeds, but it's anyway our words harming for others. Why is no strong non-virtuous deeds? Because you don't have an intention to say something bad. You just no mindful, you just saying things, sharing things, but affected some others' minds, then that's not really strong non-virtuous deeds, but it's non-virtuous deeds because harming for others' mind. Then, of course, intentionally say bad words. That is very strong for non-virtuous deeds. Then that is causes of attachment, causes of anger. So create all these 6 realms of suffering there. The words is the same as bomb, can destroy others and destroy ourselves too. So that's the reason we have to take our speech. And that's why we have so many prayers, chantings, because we always create speech obstacles. We say things and affected for others' mind. And we also fixation to the words and grasping to the words. So create a karma. So that's always called speech obstacles. Through the speech, create a karma. That's why we have so many prayers, chantings, mantras. That's all introduced to our speech karma and purify our speech obscurations. And today with this, Chinesic prayer, so all songs is mantra. So that's also, impure this words, speech is transformed to the enlightening speech, create enlightening speech. Like that, so many methods for purifying, this speech obstacle. So then we always create a speech mind, speech obstacles through the saying the words. So that's why we harsh words disturb minds of others and the causes of deterioration is Bodhisattva's conduct. Therefore, give up harsh words. So then we have to give up harsh words. Also, more, harder is due to the cultures, that's also, see, if we don't know the cultures, sometimes disturb other minds easy. So, some culture you have to say directly, some culture you have to say really politely, nicely, So it's all also dependent, right? And example, like right now we are gathering many different kind of, nationalities. So we always say something is politely and a good way to like kind of a good conduct way to saying, but that if that suit for everyone. If sometimes like my background is in Tibet, is calm. So you says really politely, too nice, then people no trust. That means like people think you are not too close, like friend. And that's the reason someone is your friend, you are really close friend. We don't say is polite and nice words, you have to say directly. So otherwise, that person is not your really close friend. Yeah. And some areas, if you don't say like nice, politely, if you to say directly, and then that's also not good too. So that's the reason. That's words also, or is like dependent, and culture and the area. So due to the situation, so you have to recognize too. So main point is just we need mindful, take care our words, use through the mindful, not disturb others' mind. Therefore, give a harsh words which are unpleasant to others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Then we also say sometimes it's like stories, sharing the, examples, different kinds of sharing stories, examples. There also has a, I recognize it's like due to culture, sometimes very nice way, another nationality, but another nationality not really great to use that words and saying their kind of examples. So that's also we have to know, that's all is like, if no mindful, you can become disturb for others' mind. Okay, so then next we go to the 35, verses 35. Habitual disturbing emotions are hard to stop through contractions. Armed with the antidote, the guise of mindfulness and the mental alertness, destroy disturbing emotions like attachment at once. As soon as they arise, this is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this verses is very important. Actually, of course, all these important verses all is in this 37 practice. So habitual disturbing emotions are hard to stop through counteractions. So habitual disturbing emotions not easy to stop. That's we know. So you have something habitual, really hard to stop that. Then our habitual, disturbing emotions are very strong karmic imprints, very strong habituate. Many lifetimes habituate our emotion. So that's the reason not easy to stop. Even you have like 1 month habituate, it's also very hard to stop too. So you think about like, if you live in the California, fly to East Coast, like change the time. And then like couple days, like body also not really easily accept. So it take little time. If you go to all the way international other countries, so 24, this time is all changed. So hard to, we call jet lag, and hard to recover, take time. So that's also like habitual at. And that, actually not that strong habitual at comparing to these disturbing emotions. And if you go to sleep, like or every night at 11 o'clock, after that harder to sleep. So that's also habitual, right? Some people wake up all the time, like 6 o'clock. That's also habitual. Someone have to eat lunch is always in the 12 o'clock time, on time. That's also habitual. So change that also not easy. Habitual is changes hard. Then someone, think about the form. So we everyone has a phone, and then we always use social media, and that habitual is really hard to stop. So without the phone is with you, it's like something missing there. So you're always looking right away, watch the phone and checking messages, sending messages. So that's all is a habitual. That's actually habitual is like just short-term habitual, not really long-term habitual. The habitual is very hard to stop. Then last time I shared with you, like people has this different kind of habitual, then hard to stop. That's the reason we don't get time to practice the Dharma. Because due to habitual, they're always going on something. Even you are in the Zoom meeting, so you're looking on your phone and checking the text messages, checking the emails. Some ways like you pay attention, like other areas maybe, and maybe you're pretending, listening, teaching, but maybe other hand, you're checking the emails and your text messages. So maybe you're sending text messages for others, right? So then who has camera video on, so that may be more mindful, but someone off the video cameras, that may be going on something more than that. So harder to stop habitual. And that's why when you go to temple, is we change our habitual. Because if you stay your home and easily you follow these worldly activities, and you go to temple and then you become maybe just try to avoid worldly activities. If you stay at home, you cannot stop your habitual. That's why we go to temple, right? But some people go to temple and then same thing. So, and your body is in the temple, but your mind, yours, all is like checking with these emails and doing these social medias, and then it's no difference. You just change only your spot, but your doing things not change. So then also the temple also cannot benefit you too. And we say temple, retreat centers rescue the people, right? Rescue the people means like disturbing emotions stopped. That's we rescue for created the temples and the meditation centers. But you get there, you're doing something exactly same. Then you retreat center or temple, or also you create become change it to the become same is the worldly business space. And so that's why space is you really cannot change it, right? We have to stop our habitual ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. Practitioners, say, go to busy place, they can change that spa is transformed to the meditation center. Meditators. So the practitioners go to jail, the jail is transformed to the retreat center, yeah? And like that. And ordinary people go to retreat center also become space of worldly practice, worldly activity spa. Change it to samsaras, space. So that's the thing about all is like up to us, right? Depending on ourselves. We have to stop our habitual through use of our mindful. Actually, this condition helps, but source is, essence is we have ourselves change our habitual. Conditions, all temples, retreat centers, and statues, tangas, they're all conditions. Sangha is condition. So we use that and we have to change our habitual. Otherwise, you be still in the temples and with the statue, with the tanga, and with the sangha, but you that's also become you take to the samsara again, worldly activity. If you don't change yourself, so we have to, main point is change ourselves, control ourselves. And even we cannot change others, we have to change ourselves. So we have to create, we are Buddha, we have to create ourselves as Dharma, we have to create ourselves as Sangha. So that's why Buddha says inner Buddha is our mind, and Sangha is our body. So Dharma is our love and compassion. So we must be Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So we have to create ourselves Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And author Buddha, Dharma, Sangha only temporarily support, temporarily help us. But if always we follow the author level Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, but if you don't change yourself, we are always stuck in samsara, not possible to liberate. So that's why use the author level Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and we have to create our service Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Then how do we create our service Buddha, Dharma, Sangha? So we have to stop this habitual disturbing emotions. As when that comes, we have to stop. But very hard to stop. Very, very hard. The hardest one is this emotion stopped. Habitual, disturbing emotions stop, harder to stop. Here already says no, that's 37 practice didn't say easy to stop, right? Very hard to stop. So you have to recognize that. That means we need participation. And that means we need diligent effort. So without that, we cannot stop disturbing emotions because hard to stop. So strong habituate through contractions. So even you use this antidote, but hard to stop, very hard to stop. So then become, when we get a small kind of problems, we have to stop the small problems. If problems are really bigger, and then not possible, hard to stop. That's so think about the fires, get in the words, and when the small fire you can stop, but bigger, harder to stop, right? Like that. Emotions the same as fire. Fire is going to go to in the mountains. So think about the fire is going to national park. It's hard to stop. When the small have to stop. It's bigger, it's harder to stop, like that. So this, like you have to learn lots here. When you have a very small, tiny problems, you have to stop that. If you don't stop that, they become bigger problems, harder to stop. When emotion arises, very small emotion comes, like that time you use mindful, applying mindful, something antidote, stop. If emotions and harder to stop. So then due to, let's say, our whole worldly activities, like, due to our life, always we have problems and difficulties. Go through life means like it's always like smoothly, peaceful, great. That is no life. Human beings' life means like go up and down and up and down, always like that. So you go through that, and then during that time, of course, you get so many different kind of situations. And then when you come, recognize small and the right way, you have to stop. Otherwise, bigger situation is harder to stop, go bigger problems. So that's verses is a good instruction for our daily life, change our life, whatever, this due to our habituate create problems, arise emotions, we use mindful right way, we have to stop. So contractions armed with antidotes, the guides of mindfulness and the mental alertness disturb emotions. So then how to to stop these emotions, we have to use antidote. What is antidote? Antidote is guides of mindfulness. First, we need mindful. Without mindful, you don't know, you don't recognize your emotions. So yesterday I shared with you, if you don't recognize, we get sick. If we don't recognize, even we don't accept, we get sick, then not possible to cure, the disease. So not possible to recover illness. Like that, when emotion arises, we right away use the mindful and alertness, recognize our emotion. And then we have to apply antidote. Antidote is like many different methods. The whole this 37 practice is antidote, emotions. So you can find something solution in this book. Long as you have mindful and alertness. So mindful is like kind of a love meditation. Alertness is a compassion meditation. Like alert is more gross. Mindful is more gross level. And alertness is, I think, is more sharper, little bit more deeper level. So mindful. So when you drive the car, you need mindful, yeah, and alertness. So you really look, and if you don't want to get a speed ticket, you really look the police. Alertness. That's called alertness. Mindful, you drive safely. Alertness, watch your speed ticket, speed, and look to, if police is out there or not. Really sharp. No lose your mind. That's called alertness. Alertness is more, the mindful is a kind of a cause. Alertness is more reserved, more sharper. So we have to use these two together, mindfulness and mental alertness. So then this comes together, disturbing emotions. How you call? So we have air conditions. Maybe Curtis is really cold here. He say, okay. So now, we use the mindful alertness, then apply the antidote, use like 37 practice. In the 37 practice, I just told you, you can find a solution 100% sure, long as you have a mindful and alertness. So nothing is missing here. You can get something solution there due to our emotion and the problems. Because this Buddha and Bodhisattva says compassion and wisdom, they create this like, in each individual can find some solution there. So they're thinking about all the sentient beings, not some only like high practitioner or some groups. They're thinking about every sentient beings. So that's why any something solution in this book has. So use that and guide that, and then we have to destroy our emotions. Destroy disturbing emotions, like attachment at once as soon as they arise. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. So then when the emotions bigger, harder to stop. That's why, once as soon as they arise, use mindful awareness, stop that. That time we can easily stop. But it's emotions bigger, harder to stop. Then how to we can stop this emotion arise? It's mental awareness, mindfulness. So need these two. Without these two, not possible to stop. This two is like same as a mirror, like shows you, mirror see ourselves, right? Like that. These two see the emotion. And these two can see our problems. Mindful awareness can see our problem, our emotions. When they arise, we can stop this. So if you can do that, you are Bodhisattva. If we cannot do that, we are not Bodhisattva. Still, we are ordinary people. We are on the path. Of course, Bodhisattva also on the path, but still we are, like beginner. Okay, so now we go to the verses 36. Verses 36 is in this whole 37 practices conclusion. 36. In belief, whatever you are doing, ask yourself, what is the state of my mind with constant mindfulness and mental awareness? Accompanying others good. This is the practice of Buddha. I get mute, I don't know. So in belief, whatever you are doing, so whatever we're doing means body, speech, mind, whatever we are doing. Ask yourself. So we have to ask yourself, right? You don't have to ask yourself, I'm going to drink tea, I'm going to, take shower like this kind. Then too much, you get crazy. Ask yourself means like you're doing some really, taking some actions. And so then you have to ask yourself, okay, this really good benefit me and benefit for others. So you can, ask yourself. Then, like you really see you're going to do something that is correct or incorrect. So usually we don't have a mindful, we don't have alertness due to that, and we don't see what we're doing. So we don't recognize ourselves. And then what we're doing is actually sometimes like no benefit ourselves. Some things like really harming for others, we don't recognize, even you don't have good intentions, bad intentions, but harming for others. That's why. So we have to ask ourselves, we're doing, body, speech, mind, action is correct or incorrect. And doing that, some is you doing fun yourself, that's okay, right? As long as you know harming for others, you can enjoy. So some actions then can benefit for others, but we don't recognize benefit for others. We don't do that correctly. But some actions harming for others, we don't recognize that harming for others. So that's why, whatever you are doing means like you doing something, then that is dharma or that is no virtuous deeds. You have to recognize. So sometimes like you think you doing practice dharma, maybe that is not dharma. It's create causes of suffering yourself and others. Sometimes like you think you not doing great, but it's actually you doing great because it's benefit yourself, benefit for others. If you recognize that through the mindful and the awareness, you can do more deeper or more, like more benefit others. Use that. So main point, whatever we already talked up there, and then the 37 whole this practice is you have to look to yourself, ourselves. So watch our mind. Is intention is negative or intention is positive? So here is like, see, our look to ourselves is like, you don't have to look to show the mirror, right? Yesterday I told you, you use mirror, you look yourself. That is, you don't, you see only, you see the, what cloth you wearing, your cloth and your dress and your hairstyles, your eye, your makeup, everything like that kind of you see, mirror can see, but mirror never ever can see your intentions. So that's why use our mind for awareness, look to yourself, you have to see your intention, recognize yourself. Then ask yourself, so that's bring you recognize yourself. Sometimes you can be lost yourself. So you don't recognize yourself, what are you doing? And you lost. So in these verses also bring you back, you recognize yourself. What is the state of my mind? Then your can mind recognize, and you can create many different levels, like due to your capacity, like you can apply this practice, the Dharma practice. Some area due to situations, you really need some, practice Dharma apply you need, but without mindful awareness, you don't recognize what you need. And then you lost yourself. And yesterday I told you, become, even we think we are practitioner, but when we get in the, with ordinary people, orderly people, no one heard Dharma before, become, we are same as that people, sometimes we have become more worse than that people. So that kind of happening sometimes. So that's the reason we have to watch ourselves. Okay. So when you get in the group of people, look to everyone, oh, these people, no one has 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So they never heard these teachings. Oh, I heard 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So I must be something better than these people. So I have to show something, example for these people. So that's kind of you have to apply. Look to yourself, right? Not looking yourself, use the mirrors, looking to yourself. And then you don't have to look yourself like, you taking shower, I told you, cooking your food, doing something, clean up your homes, these things. That part I'm not talking about here. So you watch yourself is when you're gathering public together and you think about, okay, so I must be better than these people because I have this practice 37 Bodhisattva teaching. So that kind you have to apply. Then that helps you, then whatever the group people doing activities, you can use that activity taking into the path, the Dharma practice. If sometimes the group, they're gathering together doing negativity, causes of negativity, you can avoid that. So many people don't have enough mindful awareness, and when gathering together, then people doing slowly. First, of course, they're doing something fun, enjoy themselves. Then slowly, their causes of suffering, harming for others. So that kind of, we don't recognize. So long as you have a mindful awareness, you recognize what going on situations. Then you can avoid that, or you can change that. You can guide other people, or you can change to that, game or play or activity, whatever they have. You can change that to something different. So that's the kind you have to apply. Then, if you can do that, we can change ourselves. Also, we can help for others, can change others. So otherwise, if we don't ask ourselves what's going on ourselves, we don't recognize what's going on ourselves, then not possible help for others, change for others. Because we are already crazy, we lose ourselves. So then how can guide for others? We don't have I ourselves. How are you going to take others, like taking to the right direction, right path? So this mindful awareness is the same as our I. many groups, no I, so you have I, you can help for others. There are no falling in the clubs and no falling danger place. So you can help them, you can save their people, you can rescue them. Yeah. And so then, of course, like you have I, you also knows which direction right direction you go. So that kind of we have to apply ourselves. Mindful awareness helps ourselves and helps for others. Without these two, and we always lost. If you can read all these 37 practice and memorize, without a mindful awareness, when you get in this kind of like group situations going to create suffering each other, you don't recognize. You just become same with the other people too. So like others know I, so you also know I, become two. So that's why this practice really helps. So we can use this and guide ourselves and guide for others. Ask yourself, what is the state of my mind? So then you can also look to your intention, change, and can use many things for practice Dharma with constant mindfulness and mental awareness, accomplish others' good. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So Bodhisattvas and watch their own and recognize their own, what they're going on, and they see their own intentions, and then they also can help for others. So otherwise, we not possible helping for others, only just words. Without mindful awareness, we cannot help for others. We cannot guide for others. So someone lose mental, consciousness, mental consciousness, they don't know what they're doing. Then, so others also like that, how you can help for others. Then this mindful mental awareness bring your mind back. You recognize yourself. Then you can practice Dharma also. Good quality is based on the mindful and the mental awareness. So that is the most important. I mean, the just all these 37 whole Bodhisattva practice is subsumed to this category. So now it's the last one, 37. To remove the suffering of limitless beings, understanding the purity of the three spheres, dedicate the virtue from making such effort to enlightenment. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So 37 is dedication to remove the suffering of limitless beings, understanding the purity of the three spheres. So we have to dedicate our virtuous deeds, dedicate the virtuous deeds, dedicate virtuous deeds for the other beings. So for other beings, the how to dedicate for this virtuous deeds for other beings. So then we recognize this limitless other sentient beings. They have endless suffering. So we wishing our virtuous deeds remove the suffering of limitless other beings. So now we learn this 37 practice, and so many weeks already. During that time, so you listening, teaching, and cultivate 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So that virtuous deeds, we sharing for others, dedicating for others. This virtuous deeds, sharing for others, dedicating for others is always important. Whatever we're doing, good actions, we always have to do dedicate for others. If we dedicate for others, then this virtuous deeds, the practice, your listening, teaching, share the teaching, and we did, this practice 37 together. So then Mary, we dedicate for others, then that virtuous deeds is causes of become Buddhahood. So when I share that this, say, 6 parameter, so long as you have wisdom, and then the virtuous deeds is causes of Buddhahood. Without wisdom, so generosity, morality is the causes of only the, samsara, like higher level good things happening, but cannot take to the Buddhahood. So same like that, without this dedication, then our virtuous deeds also some is benefit in this samsara, but also some is just become exhaust. Virtuous deeds is exhaust. It can be gone. That's why dedication is a safe, our virtuous deeds, and then never end. So you have like cup of water, and then this cup of water is taken to the ocean, put in the ocean. So the cup of water is put in the ocean, the sun cannot dry it up, that become your virtuous deeds is safe. Like that, long as you do the dedications, and then our emotions not destroyed our virtuous deeds. And actually, no virtuous deeds remove the virtuous deeds. So you do the dedications, virtuous deeds, then no virtuous cannot removed, cannot destroyed. So same is like cup of water is put in the ocean, always there until free from samsara. So that virtuous deeds benefit. That's the reason we have to do the dedication when we do something, practice dharma, and we have to do dedicate. So same is like you working in the computer, create fires, and you have to save. If you don't save, then battery is die. Your computer is something wrong, or it's gone. So like that, if you do some good things, virtuous deeds, but if you don't dedicate, then no virtuous comes removed. Virtuous deeds is removed. So especially generosity, morality, that kind of practice, virtuous deeds is like one anger can remove everything. So if long as you have wisdom, then see wisdom is more powerful than anger. So anger's antidote is patience, practice patience. Then meditation and wisdom, that kind of virtuous deeds, anger cannot removed. So like that, the virtuous deeds also the emotional negativity can be removed, dependent. That's why it's our ordinary people always have to do dedicate. Otherwise, easily our virtue is gone because we always arise emotions. So we cannot control our emotion easy. Emotions always easily arise. Very strong anger arise for someone. Your virtuous deed is gone, exhaust. That's why ordinary people have to do dedication. So very important. Bodhisattva level, then there not much emotion arise. So they are okay because even they don't dedicate much, but the virtuous deeds is like, the emotions not destroy that. Then think about also Bodhisattvas do dedication, so there came virtuous deeds also more benefit for others. And then we do the dedication, our virtuous deeds also is sharing for others and become is more powerful. So if a cup of water only drain yourself, only benefit you, but this is put in the ocean, so they become bigger water, big, vast. So like that, it's dedication helps become is vast again, bigger, benefit more others. Then we do the dedication is also we can think about this listening 37 practice Bodhisattva, sharing these teachings, cultivate these teachings. And then we also think about so far, when Ngurchu told me he composed this 37 practice of Bodhisattva, how many people listening, how many people share these teachings. So this all virtuous deeds bring to our mind and dedicate for others. So that's it become more powerful. We are part of the already in that, practice. So this teaching, many teachers sharing for others, many people studying, cultivating this practice, then that practice, benefit is more bigger and bigger. So we also part of that too. So you're thinking about only yourself are listening this 37 practice. So no, I'm going to dedicate that. That is very small virtuous state. So now you think about so far, Ngurchu told me he created this 37 practice. And beginning to, when he created the beginning to so enter no, all people listening this teaching, cultivate, sharing the teachings, I'm going to dedicate all this merit for others. There's more bigger. And then also like you think about whatever I did, I'm beginning last time until know something good things. And I'm going to dedicate for others. So now then you can think about other bodhisattvas. So you think like mentally, of course, you think about like which person is a bodhisattva in this world right now. So you think about that person, and then that person's what he did all good things are also do dedication, same as his virtuous deeds together. So that's also become virtuous deeds. Our virtuous deeds is more power and more benefit. That kind of way you does dedication and become our practice is saved and non-virtuous deeds cannot removed, cannot destroyed. So it's powerful. That's the reason when we do this practice yadam deities, require three things. Require three things is called first excellences. First excellences is bodhicitta, when you're going to practice yadam deity. And second, visualization. And samadhi, meditation, means like you just follow the instruction directly and not lose the mind, focusing. Third excellence is dedication. So long as you have three comes together, your practice has power. And that practice is causes of Buddhahood. Then when we have become Buddha, also benefit for others. So when we have become Buddha means then Buddha is like same as we are other Buddhas, we have become Buddha benefit for others. We have become Minjushiri, we have become Chinreze, we have become Tara. So that's all is become for benefit for others. And then we don't need to like create our self Buddha, like we have our wisdom is Manjushiri, benefit for others. Our compassion has become Chinreze, our generosity has become the Zambala, and our the many different ways activity for other benefit for others is a Tara. So that's why we can say Tara is embodiment of all the Buddha's activity. Chinreze is embodiment of all the Buddha's compassion. So Manjushri is all Buddha's embodiment of wisdom. So we have become dissolved to all these Buddhas, and then endless benefit for others. Yeah. So that's where you understanding these Buddhas, then see what means Manjushri, what means Chinreze, what means Tara. It's clearly there. So all the Buddha's wisdom is embodiment of Manjushri. We have become Buddha, then we say we're going to benefit for others. Our wisdom is Manjushri. So benefit for others. that way we have to dedicate it for others, dedicate virtue from making such effort to enlightenment. So then here also says the priority of the three spheres. So three spheres is when we do the dedication with the wisdom dedication. So wisdom dedication is like when you do something, you think about, like what you did, look to yourself, recognize myself is emptiness, no exist. And whatever I did is like dedication, virtuous deeds, action also emptiness. And going to dedicate for all limitless beings, there's also all these beings no exist. So realize that and you meditate, then that is called samadhi dedication. Three spheres, free from three spheres. So otherwise, like, I am did this kind of good things, subject, or I give teaching, action, or I give it to these people, is object. So then you have three spheres. That where dedicate is not much benefit. So no wisdom there. Wisdom means purity of the three spheres, dedicated virtue from making such effort enlightenment. So purity is like free from attain three spheres. So when you recognize ourself, whatever I did, ourself is no exist. My teaching, whatever done, is action also no exist. And I'm going to dedicate this, every people also object also no exist. We recognize that. And then that dedication is called purity of three spheres, purity of the three spheres, dedicate virtue from making such effort enlightenment. That's hard to do because it's without recognize emptiness. But that's the reason we can use like Manjushri, Samandabhada, what that did dedications. My Mary also same is like that, dedicating for others. And also you can do like, when you dedicate a lot to yourself and and my is no exist, meditate like, emptiness. And then whatever you done also no exist, then you dedicate for others. So that is we finished the 37 practice of Bodhisattva. And then 37 verses finished there. So the last one is this 37 practices the composed by the Ngurchu Tomi. So he, giving like information where, which kind of this text, where he found this text. For all who wanted to train on the Bodhisattva's path, I have a writing the 37 practice of Bodhisattvas, following what has been said by the excellent ones on the meaning of the sutras, tantras, and the treatises. So this 37 practice he created for who wanted to practice the 37 practice of Bodhisattva, who wanted to practice Bodhisattva. So he created these 37 verses. Then he created these 37 verses is followed by, following what has been said by the excellent ones, like all these noble beings and realizers, practitioners. He followed them. He created this teaching. So main point, he reduced his ego. So he said, I don't know anything, but this teaching is follow these Bodhisattvas, Buddhas. And what they says are put in here. So following what has been said by the excellent ones on the meaning of the then, it's come from the sutra is Buddha, tantra is Buddha's teaching, and the treatise or other tantra teachings, sutra teachings, and the commentaries. So that's all is come from, he says, is excellent ones means like noble ones. He created this teaching. Then, though not particularly pleasing to scholars owing to my poor intelligence and the lack of learning, I have relied on the sutras and the words of the excellent. So I think these Bodhisattva practice are without error. These Bodhisattvas always say, I don't know. They don't say, I know everything. Ordinary people say, I know, I learned, I get, I am, always I is the perfect. So this Bodhisattva said, though not particularly pleasing to scholars, only to my poor intelligence. He said, he don't have intelligence. So then he said, this cannot pleasing to the scholars. Because he said, I don't have knowledge. So I don't have learning knowledge and I don't have realized practice. So that's the reason he said, I cannot pleasing to this for the scholars. But actually we know this is like pleasing to the scholars. Scholars really need this teaching, right? So also, he is not poor intelligent. He is intelligent. He is the scholar. But he said he's no scholar. And he said he's poor intelligent means he don't have educations. And the Ngurche told me his background is he studied all the monastery education and he's become Kempo and such a tradition. So we saw his biography. And then he went to, retreat. So he's become non-sectarian practitioner, realizer. So that's the reason everyone, this Tibetan four tradition lineage, everyone follow this teaching. So you recognize when His Holiness Dalai Lama shared the Kalachara empowerment, he always shared this 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So he's saying why he's sharing Kalachara, he wants to share this 37 practice Bodhisattva. That's why he's doing Kalachara. Because people come for Kalachara, then he use that and sharing this 37 practice of Bodhisattva. He say all the time that. So that's important, but people don't understand, recognize. They think Kalachara is more important than 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So His Holiness said, I doing Kalachara, I want to share 37 practice. So I'm intelligent. He said, I'm intelligent. That's why I'm advertised as a Kalachara, sharing is a 37 practice of Bodhisattva. Then one day he said, the students more intelligent to become. They say, when is mean Kalachara empowerment? They're looking at that specific day, Then they come to specific day like Kalachara empowerment initiation day, not coming for the 37 practice of Bodhisattva teaching. So he says, no, everyone knows it's technique or what he wanted to do. He said, no, others more intelligent become. So it's important for everyone. People, we don't recognize this is important. Yeah. Important teaching is, we think, easy, simple, no, recognize. Something, like Kalachara initiation, actually, of course, it's performed very higher level teaching, but not much like, ordinary people benefit because some basic level practice. So even you receive the empowerment, of course, like you get good karmic imprints, something great things, due to that, but daily life, not much change. So because we don't use that practice, it's harder to bring to the daily life practice. This is kind of easy. So we need, when you're thirsty, you need water, right? Doesn't matter somewhere else like fresh or nectars, but you need water to drink first. So you need to survive first. So this 37 practice helps we can survive in the samsara. And this helps become protected in the samsara for us. This is a protection in the samsara. Then this helps taking to the nirvana. So that's the reason. Also, Kala Chakra, the high level Tantra, essence is 37 practice Bodhisattva too. The Yadam deity essence is Bodhicitta. So without Bodhicitta, the Yadam deity practice also, then no benefit. That's why when you're going to practice the Yadam deity sadhana, always require Bodhicitta. So here, see scholars learning through my poor intelligence and the lack of learning. So he says that. And then also when you hear these teachings, Garchen Rinpoche always share 37 practice of Bodhisattva. Doesn't matter which kind, use advertisement. But main thing is to go back to always practice Bodhisattva. So then there's also Dharma centers, organizers also clever. They use different, names, advertisement. Then people all say, I'm going to share 37 practice of Bodhisattva. People say, oh, I have received him from many times from him. So no, I don't need. And, then they don't go. They don't come. So they have to use method, something different. And long time ago, when I was in Malaysia, so when Gajen was coming back to Malaysia, so we talk about a program. So then one guy said, we have to create a 37 practice Bodhicitta, Sawa teaching. Then another group says, no, 37 practice Bodhisattva. If you do that, I'm not coming. I have already received many times. So like that, people think it's 37 practice Bodhisattva is easy, I already received. So that is 100% misunderstand, wrong thinking. And yesterday I shared with you, and Khenpo Jimmy Pinto, he said 100 times received from other teachers, this teaching. So then our case, we have to receive like 1,000 times. Not only 1 time, 2 times, 100 times. So then when Gachen Rinpoche, he shared this one, he always say he don't know, he don't have knowledge, exactly same like that. That means Bodhisattva. So the symbol is Bodhisattva too. Given to my own poor intelligence and the lack of learning. So then some, of course, like, practitioners, when they share teaching, is they don't really know how to share much teaching, but they have practice. They really know the inner everything. They know their practice. They put practice. Some is like share greatly, but they don't have a practice too. So, think about like yoga. Yoga, like right now, many people think yoga is exercise. Truly, reality, yoga is not only exercise. So now in the yoga has come to in the Western countries, like become exercise. And the people who know all these postures correctly and can do everything perfectly, the postures, yoga postures. But that means that truly that still don't know the yoga. The yoga is not only, I heard, the postures, So same like this, if you know only these words to share teaching, but that means you don't really still know the 37 practice Bodhisattva. So yoga reality true is like each posture, and you have to bring to energy to your body, connect with your, wing and the channels, and through this, like each one have to connect with that. not only exercise. So this yoga, I recognize, yoga very good practitioners. They don't know all these postures correctly, but they knows this single movement benefit, and they knows all this how to bring into their practice, like they put their practice and bring to their own practice daily, they're doing. So like that, and this 37 practice, like sharing sometimes the words is easy. When you read, you understand, mostly say, I understand, I know the 37 practice, everyone say like that, but you really go to meaning, it's hard. And then that meaning bring to your practice, that's more harder. Okay, so if you're going to say, I know 37 practice Bodhisattva, not only you memorize this whole text. I have memorized this whole text. I don't say I know 37 practice Bodhisattva. So I share teachings and some with you, but I share many times actually, share with you, but this 37 practice, I really don't know. So when I read each verses, one day it's like become kind of new come to me again. Because due to my emotions, daily, like goes worldly things, and it's not applied. And if when I read these verses, it's come to like really, powerful. It's kind of new again for me. So that's what it means. Like I don't know this 37 practice of Bodhisattva. Truly, it's hard, but we just have to apply this practice, and until we have become true Bodhisattva. Then only true Bodhisattva has this practice, no ordinary peoples. So we are not true Bodhisattva. I don't know, but mostly I think we are not true Bodhisattva. We are ordinary. So we can say we are the beginner Bodhisattva. And relatively, we have take Bodhisattva vows. So we wishing, we doing aspiration, become Bodhisattvas. Then that's why we needed this practicing. So that really helps us, then daily life guide. So think about his knowledge and his compassion, because he can bring all these teachings, like subsumed these 37 verses is all the performed. Life of learning, I have rely on the sutra and the words of the excellence. So I think this Bodhisattva practice are without error. So he said this is nothing wrong, because he said he followed the sutras and the tantra teachings. However, as the great deeds of Bodhisattva are hard to fathom for one of my poor intelligence, I beg the excellent to forgive faults such as contradictions and non-sequiturs. So see, Bodhisattvas good, the great deeds of Bodhisattvas are hard to fathom, very hard to know. So that's all for one of my poor intelligence. We also think about when I share these teachings, of course, this 37 Bodhisattva is very profound and very hard to know. That's why is my poor intelligence, I share you, this is like lots of mistakes I'm going to confess for you. And then also when you're listening teaching, during that time, your minds follow the distractions and, create emotions with that and disturbing your mind during that time. So you also confess together. So that's also he training for us. Actually, you think, oh yeah, he have to confessing. No, he no need to confessing, but he helping us. Okay. So I share this teaching and mistakes. When you're listening this teaching, some people don't have beginning to end, because due to, worldly activity things. And so you get many distractions during that time. So that's the reason we also have to confess ourselves. And we're going to read together, and also, you think and I didn't receive a completely teaching, and then confess, and the feature, you have to dedicate wishing, aspiration, and are going to get completion teachings feature. So that kind you have to wish. Then add to fathom for one of my poor intelligence. I beg the excellent forgive faults such as contradictions and the non-sequiturs. Through the virtue from this may all living beings gain the atomic and the conventional untrusted intention. So now he doing this dedication, and we also going to do dedication, and thereby become like the protector Chinrezig, who diverse in neither extreme, not in the world nor in peace. This was writing for us own and others benefited by the monk Tomi, exponent of sculpture and reasoning in a cave in Ngurchu, Rinjinpo. Okay, so let's finish the teaching. Now we're going to chant together. Together, it's chanting together. Measure and roll, please. Can you lead the prayer? Do you have this copy, right? But I use the same one.
Yes, we have that.
Okay, please, can you read starting from homage to Avalokiteshvara?
Homage to Lokeshwara?
Yes. Homage to Lokeshwara. I pay constant homage through my three doors to my supreme teacher and protector, Chenrezig, who, while seeing all phenomena like coming and going, makes single-minded effort for the God of living beings. Perfect Buddha, source of all well-beings and happiness, arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings, and this depends on knowing the practices. So I will explain the practices of Bodhisattvas. 1. Having gained this rare ship of freedom and fortune, here think and meditate unwaveringly, night and day, in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of cyclic existence. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. 2. Attached to your loved ones, you stirred up like water. Hating your enemies, you burn like fire. In the darkness of confusion, you forget what to adopt and discard. Give up your homeland. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 3. By avoiding bad objects, disturbing emotions gradually decrease. Without distraction, virtuous activities naturally increase. With clarity of mind, conviction in teaching arise. Cultivate seclusion. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 4. Loved ones who have long kept company will part. Wealth created with difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will leave the guest house of the body. Let go of this life. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 5. When you keep their company, your three poisons increase. Your activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating decline, and they make you lose your love and compassion. Give up bad friends. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 6. When you rely on them, your faults come to an end and your good qualities grow like the waxing moon. Cherish spiritual teachers even more than your own body. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 7. Bound himself in the jail of cyclic existence, what worldly God can give you protection? Therefore, when you seek refuge, take refuge in the three jewels which will not betray you. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 8. The subduer said all unbearable suffering of bad rebirths is the fruit of wrongdoing. Therefore, even at the cost of your life, never do wrong. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 9. Like the dew on a tip of a blade of grass, pleasures of the three worlds last only a while and then vanish. Aspire to the never-changing supreme state of liberation. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 10. When your mothers who've loved you since time without beginning are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, to free limitless living beings, develop the altruistic intention. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 11. All suffering comes from the wish of your own happiness. Perfect Buddhas are born from the thought to help others. Therefore, exchange your own happiness for the suffering of others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 12. Even if someone out of strong desire steals all your wealth or has it stolen, dedicate to him or her your body, possessions and your virtue, past, present, and future. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas. 13. Even if someone tries to cut off your head when you haven't done the slightest thing wrong, out of compassion, take his or her misdeeds upon yourself. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 14.
Even if someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you throughout the 3,000 worlds, in return, with a loving mind, speak of his or her good qualities. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas. 15.
Though someone may deride and speak bad words about you in a public gathering, looking on him or her as a spiritual teacher, bow to him or her with respect. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Even if a person for whom you have cared for like your own child regards you as an enemy, cherish him or her especially, like a mother does her child who is stricken with sickness. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 17.
If an equal or inferior person disparages you out of pride, place him or her as you would your spiritual teacher, with respect on the crown of your head. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Though you lack what you need and are constantly disparaged, afflicted by dangerous sickness and spirits, without discouragement, take on the misdeeds and the pain of all living beings. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
19.
Though you become famous and many bow to you and you gain the riches equal to Vajravana's, see the worldly fortune is without essence and be unconceited. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 20. While the enemy, your own anger, is not subdued, though you conquer external foes, they will only increase. Therefore, with the militia of love and compassion, subdue your own mind. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 21. Sensual pleasures are like salt water. The more you indulge, the more thirst increases. Abandon at once those things which breed clinging attachment. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 22. Whatever appears in your own mind, your mind from the start was free from fabricated extremes. Understanding this, do not take to mind inherent signs of subject and object. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 23. When you encounter attractive objects, though they seem beautiful like a rainbow in summer, don't regard them as real and give up attachment. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 24. All forms of suffering are like a child's death in a dream. Holding illusory appearances to be true makes you weary. Therefore, when you meet with disagreeable circumstances, see them as illusory. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 25. When those who want enlightenment must give even their body,
there's no need to
mention external things. Therefore, without hope for return or any fruition, give generously. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 26. Without ethics, you can't accomplish your own well-being. So wanting to accomplish others is laughable. Therefore, without worldly aspirations, safeguard your ethical discipline. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 27. To Bodhisattvas who want a wealth of virtue, those who harm are like a precious treasure. Therefore, towards all, cultivate patience without hostility. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 28. Seeing even hearers and solitary realizers who accomplish their own good, strive to put out a fire on their head for the sake of all beings, make enthusiastic effort the source of all good qualities. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 29. Understanding that disturbing emotions are destroyed by special insight with calm abiding, cultivate concentration which surpasses the four formless absorptions. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 30. Since the five perfections without wisdom cannot bring perfect enlightenment, along with skillful means, cultivate the wisdom which does not conceive the three spheres as real. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 31. If you don't examine your own errors, you may look like a practitioner but not act as one. Therefore, always examining your own errors, rid yourself of them. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 32. If through the influence of disturbing emotions you point out the faults of another Bodhisattva, you yourself are diminished. So don't mention the faults of those who have entered the great vehicle. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 33. Reward and respect cause us to quarrel and make hearing, thinking, and meditation decline. For this reason, give up attachment to the households of friends, relations, and benefactors. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 34. Harsh words disturb the minds of others and cause deterioration in a Bodhisattva's conduct. Therefore, give up harsh words which are unpleasant to others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 35. Habitual disturbing emotions are hard to stop through counteractions. Armed with antidotes, the guards of mindfulness and mental alertness destroy disturbing emotions like attachment at once as soon as they arise. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 36. In brief, whatever you are doing, ask yourself, what's the state of my mind? With constant mindfulness and mental alertness, accomplish others' goods. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. 37. To remove the suffering of limitless beings, understanding the purity of the three spheres, dedicate the virtue from making such effort to enlightenment. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Thank you, Kempo, and thank you, Sangha.
So we have to read this one. For all who wanting to train on the Bodhisattva's path, I have written the 37 practice of Bodhisattva following what has been said by the excellent ones on the meaning of the sutras, Tattva, and treatise. Though not particularly pleasing to scholars, owing to my poor intelligence and the lack of learning, I have relied on the sutras and the words of the excellent. So I think this Bodhisattva practice are without error. However, as the great deeds of Bodhisattvas are hard to fathom for one of my poor intelligence, I beg the excellent to forgive faults such as contradiction and non-sequiturs. Through the virtue from this may all living beings gain the automatic and conventional artistic intention and thereby become like the protector Chinrezek, who dwells in the nether extreme, not in the world nor in peace. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Page 26. Wrong, the English first. At my own mind, with the mind alone, with nothing to identify, it is space. With nothing whatsoever to see vividly clear in that essence which Ranga Zemla Zemjeti Nizo Mebe Nankanda Jeyang Mantong Sangewa Ngo Dongba Nye De Ne Om Mani Padme Hum Ro Mani Padme Hum Ro Mani Padme Hum Ro Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Ro 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 Om Mani Padme Hum Ro. Out of that experience of impeded emptiness, appearances arise unstructured and vividly clear, without bias or pervasive uncompounded, and with the nature of a clear light or wonderful. Tomba Sandarang Anyele Nawa Manga Saleva Rimi Kinjam Demase Ranjin Ozar Monzar Je Om Mani Padme Hum Ro Om Mani Padme Hum Ro Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum Ro Om Mani Padme Hum Ro Om Mani Padme Hum Ro Om Mani Padme Hum Ro. clear yet empty, and empty yet clear, clear yet in emptiness, indivisible, beyond thought and expression. This inner genuine state of perfect bliss is the automic Lord Avalokiteshvara. Sarjan Dongla Dongyen Sardong Yermi Samjutar Lenjin Yoma Dejin De Nedong Jere Zewang Ye Oman Beme Honro Oman Beme Hon Oman Beme Hon Oman Beme Honro Oman Beme Honro Oman Beme Honro Oman Beme Hon Oman Beme Honro 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 Oman Beme Hon Om mani beme honro, 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 mani beme Om mani beme honro. Page 157, dedication. The deity yoga sadhana. Dorje chang, telopa, naropa, marpa, malarepa, dharma lord gambopa, pamotropa, lord de gomba. Please bestow upon us most auspicious blessing of all Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who travels on the waves of birth, odious sickness, and death across the ocean of samsara. Bodhisattva, the excellent precious mind, where it is humble, may it arise, where it is humble, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activities separate far and wide. I pray the Lama may not be separate from you. As Minjin the Vero realized the automic state, and as did Samanta Bada, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma aside, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I shall bear fruit. By the virtue collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the inner rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain. May this teaching of Guru Digompa Rana Shiri attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teaching of Guru Digompa Rana Shiri, whose omniscient, Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. The page 160. For this realm circled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception. Tenzin Jamso, you who are one with our Lokeshwara, may you remain in satisfied samsara's end. Embodiment of the three precious jewels, Pemapan, who holds the teachings of the victorious one, seeing the all goodness, meaning with the wisdom eye. May you who are the spontaneously extraordinary activity living long for hundreds of kalpas. Noble Manjushri, the Lord of speech, who manifests to hold the teaching of the Trapezim, who raises the lamp of the sages' teachings. May you who are the light of the Dharma, living long for hundreds of kalpas. The one moon in the Holy Lands is Ayandevas, emanated into gargling of eastern Tibet as Chidengpa, the heart son of Jigtin Sungo. May the life of glorious Garchin remain satisfied for eons. In this age of satisfied, when the victorious teachings faces hardship through this powerful Vajra-like conduct, he takes on himself the heavy responsibility of the unbesieged teaching, making Garchin the son of the teaching living long. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Happy July Independence Day. Tashi Dele, be permanent independent.
Kembula, may I ask a question?
Independence Day. We're going to celebrate permanent Independence Day. victorious Buddha.
Happy Interdependence Day.
So you
Yes.
today,
Happy enlightenment then. If it
also
is
Good.
family.
Yeah, they're gonna go there. Go ahead.
you can use a special day is practice that may very I think strong effect independent permanent independent. So use like we
Kambula, may I ask a question?
permanent independent. Okay, Lamin, go independent.
I want to ask about the 37 practice, some practice.
Yes.
The first question I want to ask is about the 36 about the mind. And that verse I have been practiced for a few years, and it was very helpful to me. So sometimes, like I remember once when I was in the swimming pool, I want to tell someone something. And so I watched my mind and I found out the motivation is why I want to tell her how good I was. So when I understand my intention, then I just keep silent. So this verse actually helped me to watch my mind all the time, most of the time, and then I understand my ego was playing all the time. So now I'm much more be careful of what I was speaking. So that was very helpful to me. And because when Gachin Rinpoche teach us 37 verses, and I just like doing the everyday chanting and chanting, that's 37 verses. And then I found out the 36 was most related to me. So I practice all the time and remember that. That's the first. And it's not a question. The second one, but I don't know whether that's a right practice or not right, correct. And the second one is the 37 practice when you talk about dedication. And I recently really enjoyed doing dedication. And I really found out that when I dedicate, I told you before, when I confess of my transgression, my evil thought toward my parent. And then now I try to dedicate, when you told me I have to dedicate to my father and mother, particular to my father. So I try to dedicate every day to my father. And then I found out one thing, it's very interesting. It's after the dedication, many things of my past sometimes get me really angry when I remember that. Then I look at my father and I'm more like have the understanding of his failure as a human being. And because of that, I have more compassion. From that angle, I let go of a lot of my anger. But one thing very interesting is about the dedication is like I dedicate to several people, and sometimes if I ask, usually I ask Gachin Rinpoche to help. And so if they are ill or something, it's really helpful. But one thing I found out is if I want something happen to them, that never happen. Like if I want that person to be a little bit kinder, she never be a little bit kinder. Actually, she become more nasty. So I don't understand why if I dedicate to her and want her to be kinder, she doesn't become kinder, she become nastier. But because of my dedication, I felt that I have more space and more easy to understand and allow that even she's being
Go
not
away.
nice, but it's okay.
Mm.
So will you give me some instruction, or did I do something wrong? Because did I have to follow the formula or just dedicate?
Just dedicate.
Okay. It's okay that like I feel that the dedication to other is not, I don't know how helpful to other, but I felt that it really helpful to myself and give myself more space and give myself more loving kindness toward that person. Was
Yes.
it correct practice or not?
That's it. You dedicate for others, the benefit to come to you.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know whether it's benefit for me, but I do feel that when I dedicate, I have more space. Like I am not so easy to be angry with someone if she's not doing what I want to do and being nasty. But I feel, oh, it's okay. She's just like all the sentient being like me.
Uh,
Was it correct? That's way?
yes. So someone you dedicate a specific someone, so that more nasty. I think actually that means like you dedication working.
Oh.
Working in
So sometimes they are more nasty. What can I do? But I just feel it's okay. Like I feel that after my dedication, I feel I have more loving kindness toward that person.
I mean, see your dedication for someone, so that become more nasty. That testing you for you strong.
I wish it's not the other way. If I dedicate to this person, that person should become a bodhisattva. Why she's no more nasty?
So you blessing Laming. First you dedicate that person. You say I'm Bodhisattva, I'm going to dedicate. So then become more nasty means that person testing you. And that liberate you. So that helping you. That person you found.
Okay.
So great for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Kembula.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have a question, Kempo.
Yes, TJ.
You mentioned I'm trying to understand wisdom. Okay. What originally I thought wisdom was gaining a lots of knowledge and becoming wise, but wisdom has a different meaning, I think. So what do we mean when we say
yes,
wisdom is compassion? What does that mean?
So you know the wisdom has relative truth wisdom, absolute truth wisdom, and you gaining knowledge is called relative truth wisdom. And then emptiness with compassion is emptiness is called absolute truth wisdom. When you realize emptiness is then you really comes compassion for others, because you see all these beings are actually not truly exist, is delusion but not recognized. That's the reason we are so strongly fixation into samsara. So you really see that, and the arise compassion is called emptiness compassion. That's called absolute truth compassion.
So it arises with practice. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And then
Kempo, can you take my question?
yes.
Thank you. In the discussion, of course, I didn't write down the number, where it says, due to our emotion arising. Okay, so I look at that, and I think it's like number 20 discusses that though you conquer the external foe, the internal, can't read the writing, will. We don't subdue our own internal mind, the true foe.
Yes.
And I started looking at that and wondering if that was accurate, because not accurate, but I don't know. It's almost a clarity of. I'm asking like clarity for me for the kind of the translation. We have the emotion, but then for us to treat the emotion like it is the club somebody hit us with, you don't blame the club, so that emotion is still the club. So we turn to the emotion we have, not that the other person had, we have, and we blame that, that other person, the bat for giving us that emotion. But the emotion's not the issue, because the fault does not begin until we grasp and then hang on to it, cling to it. We grasp the emotion, we cling to it, and then we build, so if like in Dzogchen, if the emotion arises and it's merely a cloud that passes, no fault. Yeah. So if stay with me, if there is like cultures have kind of an internal diplomacy based on the way things work, naturally evolved responses to how people within community speak to each other. And I think you were saying it was calm, where if you don't talk direct, you know, what you holding behind your back, what's under that shell there, what are you hiding, you know? So if we approach this thing about the way we grasp and cling to emotion, is that kind of a factor of and individuated, like from one person? For you, it might be different from how I do it, because my internal culture might be different from yours, depending on how, you know, everything developed with me, or develop, you know, what the causes, conditions, and propensities that we come to the table with, the table of ourselves with. We're sitting across the tables from ourselves internally still at this point. Do we actually have an internal diplomacy within ourselves that we can look for as a kind of subtle cause of this response to, you know where I'm going?
Oh, Tessa, your question is really profound. I really cannot understand clearly. Can you send me email so we can?
Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can. I'll do that. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kempo. Thank you, by the way, Talaman, because every time she asks a question, she drags out something and lays it on the table that's been, oh, something smells, you know, inside my house, something really smells dead in here. What is that? What is it? But she always finds something to go, hey, I found mine. This is what I found. And I can go, yeah, that's a great idea. I'll go looking for that. I love her questions. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tessa.
Sangala.
Melissa.
Yes, Rinpoche La. First of all, I thank you very much for these teachings. And my understanding is you can't really do these practices until you've realized emptiness, because all verses are based on a realization of emptiness and compassion, really. So for me, the practices are an aspiration or intention on a relative level. But I have a question about living in America. You had talked about this a couple weeks ago. America, as you know, when you came here, you must have seen, America is a very aggressive place. And there's a lot of emphasis on power and greed and money. And so in some ways, America is a very rough culture, because you have to protect yourself from people, these complicated emotions coming at you of power and greed and taking advantage. And so I feel on a relative level in America, you have to be like a Kampa. You have to be very strong and direct to live here, because Americans think kindness is a weakness. You mentioned that a couple weeks ago. You know that. Many Americans take advantage of Tibetans when they come here. So it's very hard to work with, because you have to watch what you say, it says in these practices. But sometimes you have to just tell people in America, stop it. Don't do that to me. Otherwise, it creates more problems.
Okay, Melissa. So that's and you can stop the like someone create karma, so you can stop through your wisdom and no emotionally. So that's
Okay.
the key.
Okay.
You can protecting yourself, but without emotion, and you understanding. That's why you need education, you understanding. Then through that, no harming others, but protecting yourself and no benefit for others. So that or it's individual, different the situation need a different method. So long as you have this 37 practice Bodhisattva, and then you can find some solution there. Yes.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you.
It's like, like someone take advantages from you and nothing like actually harming to you. And then like say, let's take the advantage. That is a Bodhisattva recognize. Some advantage it takes, okay, they're not really good for them. And I'm also like depending my situation is I'm first beginner Bodhisattva. That really harm my practice. So you have to stop that. So you are high realizer, then this worldly situation not going to any effective. It's always the same as dreaming. So that's always a dependent situation. So long as you have this one, then you have protection. Okay, so then others are doing something for you, then also you use that for benefit. Thank you. And then next, no questions, I think.
Temple, may I give a comment of what the person just said? Because when I first came to America, before I came, and I was meeting a monk who was a translator for Dalai Lama, His Holiness, and he gave me some blessing and told me that I'm going to a place, it's very harsh. And he told me the only thing I have to remember is protect my heart and don't lose my heart. And so I remember that, and many times I also remember during my practice, it's so easy for me to remember what I did good to other people, but always forget how other people are good to me. So I always have to remember that if I feel that people taking advantage of me, then I have to think so many people are so kind to me too. So it balances in some way that because I don't remember how the kindness I have been receiving from other people. So even though this is a very harsh place, I realize that, but it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Lame. Yes, so that's good and very easy to recognize like someone, do something like harsh or not great for things, like easy to recognize. Someone doing good things we don't recognize. So 95 people doing good for us, we don't recognize. Maybe 5 people does something mistakes. This we also like blame, of course, our country is bad, like all these state people are bad. So that kind of that then happen. So that's why, Lame, your comment is great. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So main point is we, use this method and then use this all these situations to create love, compassion in our mind. So we follow by single situations, really hard to, solve the problem. And it's a samsara. That's why it's called samsara. We are not in nirvana. So we need this or this. Some people rough difficulties that we need in samsara. That helps. That give for strong for us. That's we need. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy Independence Day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Kempo.
Gemla.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you.
Thank you for the teaching and
Thanks, Kempo.